So in this country, we like to blame addiction on one of two things. It's either the substance or it is a moral issue with the person struggling with addiction. An example of the way we blame substances, we like to say, oh, this is the worst drug ever, or this one is the most addictive. The reality is most of us have had pain medication at some time in our life, but not all of us have had to go to treatment for opiate addiction. It's kind of like saying that a deck of cards is responsible for somebody's compulsive gambling habit. When we look at addiction as a moral issue, no one would ever sign up for that life and that hell. No one would choose that. To kind of debunk that whole myth, Bruce Alexander created a study called Rat Park that I'm going to quickly cover for you. So a lot of people are familiar with the primary, it was the study in the 80s where they put a rat in a cage and they isolated it and they gave it access to cocaine, and they would actually watch this rat hit the lever until it killed itself. And they repeated this study numerous times, which is really cruel and mean. But that was the case, that was the finding. So they go, okay, this drug is so addicted, look at what happens. So Bruce Alexander changed the study, kept the concept. What he did is he put 16 to 20 rats in this huge cage. It was 200 times the size of this normal, awful cage. Then he also, instead of having one rat alone and isolated, put in 16 to 20, so they had companionship. They also had wood chips and tin cans to hide in and all sorts of things that rats like. What's amazing about this study is all of the rats were actually physically addicted to morphine before they went into Rat Park, experiencing withdrawal, all of it. Once they got in there, they had access to a placebo and then also a simple syrup laced with morphine. What's incredible is in this new environment, not a single rat used compulsively, not a single one. So when we look at addiction, we know through epigenetics, the environment is what changes the gene. Sure, we may have the addicted gene, but the environment's what decides whether or not it gets flipped on. We also know that connection and companionship is incredibly important. And this study just shows stress, environment, companionship, a sense of safety, all of those are such critical factors that we need to explore when we look at the root causes of addiction.